he was just kind of using his vision to see where the offensive linemen were going to be to tackle him, but he did get in the end zone, so that was fantastic.
And that was an uncharacteristic veteran mistake by Hasselbeck to not be able to see Urlacher. Because it looked like to me he should have been in his field of vision.
Mm-hmm.
How did he not see him there? I don't know.
To me,
you would think if he did, he wouldn't have thrown that in the position that he did.
Right. I just think that even though Urlacher, he doesn't blitz a whole ton, and he's usually back in zone coverage, he's not usually on a specific guy like on that play. He was back over the middle out in zone. You just have to know that Urlacher's going to be somewhere within 10 yards, 10, 20 yards in that zone in the middle. And Briggs was even on the coverage of, I don't know who was intended to, but Urlacher was right there to scoop up the pick six.
You had two receivers crossing, I believe.
Oh, he didn't?
Yes. You were going to say something, Perm.
yeah, to me it was just two veterans going at it. Matt Hasselbeck and Brian Urlacher. They both been in the game a while, and just the defensive veteran came up. He came up with the pick six.
Well, at this point in time, I actually got up, went to the bathroom. I was gone for like a minute. I come back, and I see Brandon Marshall celebrating. And I'm like, what the heck just happened? Chris Johnson fumbles.
Oh, my God.
Because of who again? We've already said his name.
Tina Tillman.
Yes. I was just like, wow, are you kidding me? How are the Bears up right now, 28-2? How did they get the ball back?
And especially under 2 minutes, they gave the ball to Chris Johnson. I think this one was on the screen pass, but it was a great play by Peanut Tillman to punch it out. And then the Bears defense makes the offense's job so easy because they're so close, to the end zone. And I know the Bears don't always capitalize on such good field position because they've gotten so much over the past couple weeks. I think their average position after the first half was at the Tennessee 44 was their average starting point. So it was an easy job for the Bears to string together some passes, and you're 28-2 going into second quarter. It was great. I think this was the most dominant performance I've seen from a defense play a quarter in my time. I think we had four forced turnovers in the first quarter. It's 28-2. You scored 14 points off of turnovers. You also scored a touchdown. You had the blocked punt. It was too good of a defensive performance.
I want to ask you guys a question. This was a play that stood out to me, and this was before Forte's touchdown. Tennessee isn't doing anything on offense. Mm-hmm. They finally get some life on a pretty decent punt return by Darius Reynard, but there was a penalty, and it actually moved them back 25 yards, which set up that blocked punt. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Actually, no, I said that wrong. It set up Hester's return down to the 8.
Right.
So it's like Tennessee was shooting themselves in the foot all day.
Yeah, definitely offensively. And the Bears were doing the same, too. I mean, they weren't... That's why I was a little bit nervous when Tennessee came out and scored a touchdown into the third quarter.
Okay.
As we came out of the half, and the Titans were able to drive down the field, and I was like, the offense hasn't done anything to put the dagger into the Titans because they're probably back saying at halftime the Bears offense hasn't done squat, so we should still have an ability to win this game. And that's when the Bears offense kind of
tried to show a little life.
Showed a little progress into the second half. Yeah.
Well, you're going up against the 31st ranked scoring defense in the NFL. They're giving up 32 points a game. You think at some point in time the Bears would break out. And with, I think it was 6 minutes left in the second quarter, they were averaging, their average field position was the 48-yard line, which was Crystall. Kind of reminiscent of last week where Carolina was doing all those squib kicks and the Bears just couldn't do anything about it. So I know you have to be a win is a win, but at the same time about their offense. And we haven't even gotten to the second half yet where they actually started to turn it around from an offensive standpoint, but I don't know. I'm with Jeff. This defense has been so scary impressive to this point in time that you can't really rag on the offense too much, but what's going to happen when they have to play against the good teams? Because
it's coming.
Yes.
It's coming.
Like one of my good friends says, in sports, sometimes you get a vacation.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what? The vacation's over for the Bears. The cupcakes are done. You're going to see things start to get real. Because who do they have coming up, Perm?
They have, next game, they play home against the Texas, who have one loss on the season. They have the 49ers. They have the Seahawks with good defense. They still have to play the Packers, which they have their only loss to. They have the Lions that they still have to play. I mean, like, the rest of the games are not cakewalks. You still got Minnesota, who's my MVP. I'm not going to get into that right now, but have my MVP in the league, which is Percy Harvin, that our defense is going to have to worry about. Then we still have Arizona, who started off good and is starting to look a little shaky now. But like I say, the Bears, the upcoming games aren't as they got one more guaranteed win in there, and I can say probably the Lions because I'm not too fond of the Lions right now. Other than that, they got to work for the rest of their games.
That's true. Plus, they're going to be fighting for a playoff spot. Yeah. That Lions in the last game could be scary if they're still fighting for a wild card spot. I agree with you there.
Do you think the amount of touchdowns they're getting on the defensive side of the ball, I think the record's 8 in a season for a team, and they already have 7 through 8 games. Do you think that has to do with the fact that they've played, outside of the Packers, everybody they've beaten is a combined 15 and 28? Or is their defense just that good at taking the ball away? I know you can put up yards on them, especially through the air.
Yeah.
But
I say their defense is just that good because if you look at the takeaways, they force fumbles and interception. Of course, those are the most takeaways. You have to see the quarterbacks. Andrew Luck, he's a rookie, but he's one of the best rookies we've probably ever seen. Then you have Aaron Rodgers, you have Sam Bradford, you have Tony Romo, and then you have a Blaine Gabbert. No one really, you're not going to get on Blaine Gabbert. But then you have to go to the running backs that they're taking the ball away from. I mean, they're not taking away from
But you're
scrubs.
talking about a lot of very young quarterbacks outside of today. Those are all very young names.
Right.
True. That is true.
The reason
And young quarterbacks are more prone to mistakes. And I know that changes from team to team. I mean, some veterans, they still make mistakes regardless of how many games they played or how many years they've been in the league.
And that's another reason that the Bears defense is going to look upside. Like, that's the positive I see in the next games because we still have young quarterbacks. You got John Skelton for Arizona. You have Christian Ponder for the Vikings. And you have
Russell Wilson for
the Seahawks. Those are still young quarterbacks. Alex Smith, he's not young, but he's just not starting to get into his motive. Yeah. So we still have young quarterbacks to play, but better teams.
Yeah, that's the reason I'm kind of still staying optimistic on the Bears team the rest of the season because you look at the teams that you mentioned, they have great defenses, but they're also a little bit one-dimensional in the passing game. I'm not sold on Minnesota's passing game or Seattle's or even San Francisco's. You know, you're coming up, and these are teams that are so reliant on the run game, and when the Bears aren't even letting up 80 yards a game on the ground, you make the teams one-dimensional, and that's what's forcing the errors. You know, Matt Hasselbeck is not the world's greatest quarterback, but he's been around the block for a while, like we've talked about. He should know that Urlacher's there, and for whatever reason, you know, it's just absent on one play, and that one play turned into 6 points for the Bears. So I'm still a little bit optimistic going into the next season, or going into the rest of the season. Houston next week does scare me a lot.
Oh, yes.
I do like that they're coming into Soldier Field, but they're a good team throwing the ball. They're one of the best teams at running the ball as well. Aaron Foster's a beast. And their defense is spectacular. They got J.J. Watt, who's the best, I think, at rushing the passer so far this year. So,
but you could see the Bears defense building confidence from game to game to game. And last week, I think, was not only a huge confidence builder for the defense, but for the team overall. To be able to come back and win like that at home against Carolina in a game that they should have lost.
It was looking like it at
They
times.
bounced back and they just blew out Tennessee, who, they're not a great team. They're definitely young, and they have a lot of issues on both sides of the ball. But this was a perfect game to play for the Chicago Bears to get ready for this very tough stretch.
It is.
You couldn't script it any better to go into these next few weeks, as far as I'm concerned. Now,
I don't know about that.
my prediction, well, offensively, it's still not there for them. They haven't put together for one full game, 4 quarters at all. There hasn't been one game, but their defense has been so great they don't have to. And I know you'll agree with this, Perm, that yes, it should bode well for the offense that there's less pressure for them to perform. They don't have to do as much. They can go out and be more relaxed. But what happens, let's say the defense slips up, and they slip up when the games start to get really important, which is the playoffs, and they're going to need the offense to provide all the points, not just some of them. That's what scares me.
Right. No, I completely agree with you. We haven't seen the Bears need their offense to produce, crazy numbers, because we've just needed Cutler to manage the game and Forte to do what he does on the ground. And once you get into a game where the defense starts to slip up a little bit and you see a couple of big plays that they let up, and you've seen the point totals that we faced. I mean, the most points that someone scored against us is 23 out of the whole season. So you haven't needed the offense to score more than 23 points, and the defense in some games has scored more than the opponent, just on the defensive side of the ball. So you'd like to see a game where the offense is they get the pressure thrown on them. Maybe you want to see Cutler perform under that kind of a pressure instead of being laid back. The defense will get theirs. I can just kind of do whatever. You want to see a little pressure, and hopefully that comes out next game.
I don't know if I want to see that. I'm a Bears fan. I don't know if I want to put the game on Cutler's shoulders. Forte's shoulders, maybe.
No.
Oh, no, yeah.
Cutler's, I don't know. Maybe we should, I don't know. Maybe Forte should try throwing the ball sometimes. I don't know.
What do you think? How do you think the Bears are going to finish out the rest of the season? Just looking at the schedule off the top of my head, I think they're going to go 4-4. I think they're going to go 4-4, and they're going to finish up. What would that be? 11-5.
You got them winning 3 games?
No, I think they're going to go 4-4 in these
4-4?
last 8 games.
Okay.
What are the 4 losses that you see?
Green
I
Bay.
could see. I'm going to say San Francisco, 1 to Minnesota. Green Bay definitely, and then either Houston, Seattle, or Arizona. One of those 3 teams.
I can see Houston. I don't want to say it because it's home. The Bears have the home field advantage, but like Jeff mentioned, J.J. Watt's leading the league in sacks, and Cutler is top 3 in getting sacked.
Yes.
So J.J. Watt is going to have a career high in sacks next week, looking like. So I can see that. Packers, I don't think we're going to lose to them twice.
You really don't think so?
I don't think. I'm going to check on Clay Matthews. I seen him leave the game a little early today. That should be a stress reliever for him. But you remember last time the Bears played the Packers, how Cutler talked so much
Okay.
and didn't back none of it up. And that's what really edged the Packers. So hopefully he keeps his mouth closed and the Packers don't play as hard as they did last time. And we slip away with a 3-point victory due to Robbie Gould game-winning field goal.
Bears break down when we play the Packers. We're not going to win. As much as I hate to say that, we are not going to win that game. And look how far down it is. It's the 3rd to last game of the season. It's not going to happen. It's going to start getting down to the point. I'm pretty sure that we're going to make playoffs regardless. But all the other teams that are in our conference are going to be working hard to get that last wild card position to even make it into the playoffs. So, yeah, we're going to lose against the Packers. Sorry.
I still like having that 1.5 lead over the Packers. I think Minnesota is going to fizzle out towards the end of this season. I love the game against Seattle. I think we're going to crush them. Seattle's awful on the road. They have no passing game. I don't know where it's coming from.
Picking up a lot of feedback.
Back off. Stay away from the mics.
we're too electric every time we get too close to the mics. We have all this electricity
That's probably it. Yeah.
because we're all excited about the Bears. But that's going to cement Jay Cutler as being not an elite quarterback, but I would say a middle tier star, is to be able to go out and really whip the Packers.
You'd like to see that, I think.
Yes, I would love to see it, but I just don't think
You don't
he
think
has
it's
it in him.
possible?
I don't think he's a big game quarterback.
The day Jay Cutler beats the Packers, I think it's in my. The day Jay Cutler beats the Packers, I think, is the day that Jay Cutler comes out as the Bears quarterback. The one day that he's going to defeat the Packers, I think it will be Jay Cutler's coming out party. Will have to be against the Packers because I think that's how the only way he's going to be able to prove himself to Bears fans and I think the NFL, because I think we've all collectively said that we've lost confidence in him as being any sort of a quarterback that he was in Denver. He's just, I don't know, he's just not the same guy here.
To me, it seems as if Cutler is missing something that rookie quarterbacks are missing, and that is the ambition to play the game. I see Cutler on the field, and he just goes out there and throws and goes back to the huddle, and he's just gone. Now, when I seen Andrew Luck play earlier today, you can see it in his face that he wanted to win, and he had the ambition to win the game. And like I said, I don't see that in Cutler anymore.
Well, yes, that and the fact that he doesn't practice good mechanics. And you heard even, it's funny that Ryan Billick finally brought it up today that, gosh, why is Jay throwing off his back foot? Doesn't he understand that when you throw off your back foot, you can't really control where the ball is going? And I laughed to myself, like, he does that every throw. 95% of the time he doesn't set his feet because he has total confidence in his arm. And that can be a problem. When you have that gifted of a throwing arm, you think it can do anything. So
it's a good thing and a bad thing.
Yes.
I think to have too much confidence that Cutler has. I think he is seeing more of the big picture. He's like, he wants the ring. He doesn't really care about a win against Tennessee, So I do think he is thinking big picture. And even like the second play of the game when Cutler had to sprint out and he tried to get some yards. He tried to scramble outside the pocket, and I think he just got back to the line of scrimmage. It's just like throw the ball away. That's what all good quarterbacks do, and Jay Cutler just doesn't seem to have it in himself to just get rid of a play and just throw the ball out of bounds. He has to try and make something happen, even when something's not there.
We're at the midway part of the season. Who do you believe is the MVP of this team to this point in time?
Doesn't matter offense or defense.
Doesn't matter offense or defense. And you can't say the whole defense, even though that's what I would say.
I would say either Major Wright or Peanut Tillman.
Okay.
I mean, Major Wright, I think he's leading the league with interceptions, correct?
Tim Jennings.
Tim Jennings.
Major Wright.
Well, he's a close second. And Peanut Tillman, just remarkable game today. Like, all of those, I think each time he caused a fumble, we scored off of it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think I'll agree with you too, Crystal. I think Tillman is the MVP of the team. The only guy I see besides him would be Matt Forte, and he's only got 2 touchdowns on the year, so he's not too responsible for the scoring as much as he used to been.
But this offense doesn't go anywhere without him.
It's true.
That's why I'm going with you, Jeff. I'm going to say Forte because we know the defense is going to perform. Hey, this is a personal preference, Crystal.
I'm actually going to agree with James. I got to go with Forte because we've been complaining about the Bears offense, but
yes,
Forte, through it all, has been consistent. He's cried about his money, but when he got paid, he goes out there and does his job. So Forte,
and he's the one running back in the league, I swear, that on a weekly basis, he should be getting tackled for 2, 3, 4-yard loss, and he never, very rarely, I shouldn't say never, very rarely gets tackled by the first guy.